Welcome, champions. This is Arcadia.
All right, let's get back to the task at hand. We need to talk about these stories.
Big overview. Our story is about, regular, average, common people playing a video game, and their real world dilemmas and their interactions in the game. And the video game itself, that's Omen, and our guild is Arcadia. And then we're also going to have the tech company that runs the game, God Tech. They're also going to be a storyline we're going to cover. But right now, we want to dip a little into the Arcadia group, the people playing this game, going through the adventure of Omen. And there's a lot of them. We have a lot of characters in general. And, those three broad storylines are going to have some characters and plot lines that cross over. But we want to get a little bit into the characters and plot lines from Arcadia that our show is going to cover. We don't want to spoil stuff, but we want to give you some idea of who's involved and what they're going through. So, Eric, Doug, which one wants to start?
I'll do it. So I think the first important characters that we need to talk about are the brothers, the Hayeses. There is Chase and Hunter Hayes, and they have a complicated relationship. Hunter loves video games. He loves the idea of basically being part of something special and being part of a community within a game. Well, Chase, he just wants to focus his life on the medical profession and helping people and changing people's lives and saving people's lives. And playing a video game just not on his mind, doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And Hunter wants him to basically be part of his life. He wants Chase to play this game. So how could Hunter convince Chase to play this game? That is a dilemma. And it is a factor when we decided to make the game. We needed someone to really play the game from the beginning. We needed someone who was just a new player. And this is an opportunity for us to make a character like Chase to figure out why he wants to play a game and to continue to play this game. Doug, talk to us about another character. And what the hell's that? Anyways, continue.
I don't know what you're talking about. So another of the characters that's really important to our story is Zeke. He is the roommate of Hunter. Oh my God, they were roommates. And he lives a hard life. He's working 2 jobs so that he can make rent. He's one of the leaders in the guild Arcadia, and he is having a hard time struggling both. But he is almost tasked with following Chase as he's going through the story and helping him out a little bit, because every new player could have a little bit of help from somebody more experienced. He has a hard time struggling to balance the both.
Sean, can you talk to us a little bit about Amelia?
Yes, but I real quick want to touch on some things.
Go.
I want to say that it is sort of a theme, when you talk about the difference between Hunter and Chase.
Oh, yeah. And
how, in certain ways, they're very similar, right? They both have a certain passion and drive, and they both want to be part of a community. And it's, you could argue maybe that the person who's focused more on being a doctor, maybe in some sort of big picture sense, is making a bigger difference in the world, doing something more important than the person who's focused on playing a video game. But probably there's some balance, right? Someone who's too focused on their career is missing out on other aspects of life. And someone who's too focused on the game is missing out on other aspects of life. And that's kind of a theme we're exploring with the show, is the idea of how a game can be a
escape from reality.
Well, it can be an escape from reality, but it can also be a way to connect to communities, and you kind of have to balance, you know what I mean? And everyone doesn't always get it perfect, but similarly, I wanted to say Zeke is his character. He maybe feels trapped in his life, and the game is his. That's the reason it's an escape, because his life, he's barely keeping together his work and his budget and everything. And it's a shame, because his character fundamentally is very lighthearted and friendly and extrovertive, and it sucks that for him to get kind of bogged down by life, and we explore that. So Amelia is a character who maybe isn't quite as bogged down in life as Zeke, and maybe the game isn't quite as an escape for her as it is for Hunter. But she does have some romantic dilemmas in her real life and has some ambition as a singer, is what she wants to be. And I don't want to spoil too much, but she's kind of connected to these other people, and we see some of the ongoings of her life and her impacts in the game, along with a bunch of other characters. It's hard to even know where to start because you have so many. I think we probably just named the most important ones other than Arcadia.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Arcadia, Eric?
Yeah. In the game, in Arcadia, they kind of have this, I guess you could say, hierarchy. I'm not sure if I'm using the right term, but there's leadership. And then there's people who play the game and they have a little bit more responsibility. And then there's the people who don't care about responsibility. And then there's the people who are new to the game. But Arcadia, she's a leader. And you have a couple of other leaders like Zeke and Hunter, and even the one who is the one in charge of the guild, Lord Gareth. And what happens if some of these other leaders neglect their responsibilities? It falls to other people. And Arcadia just feels like the weight of this responsibility, even though it's just a game, she feels like it's important to her. And she's trying to balance, having fun with the game, but making sure that the guild in her mind doesn't fall apart. And of course, her journey kind of leads to, if we could bond together over a certain goal, which there's a big event going on that's going to be called TechCon. TechCon is an event right before the new expansion comes out. Expansions, if you're unaware of it, are just an add-on to the game. Omen's our game, and Soul is the expansion. And TechCon represents the foundation of starting this new exciting expansion. And she wants to be bringing the community together on one goal. Let's get be part of this raid. But overall, she's just trying to balance, again, her funness with making sure that the guild is taken care of. So we've been talking about Zeke and Amelia, and I want Dylan to go into detail on a different aspect of these two relationships. Zeke?
Yep. At the core of everything that we are doing, this is very much a character and a relationship driven piece of media. This story is these characters and how they interact and how they are there for one another. And the relationship that Tommy and Emma have is integral to how they kind of navigate in this world. Amelia, Emma, in real life, wants to be a singer more than anything, but only in Omen does she get the experience to actually fulfill that passion of hers. And watching someone deal with that and experience that is so beautiful. This human element that that can only be shared through multiply online experience.
Is there any other characters that we wanted to fall on that we're missing? Doug?
Why'd you pass it to me? I don't know.
Pass it to me. So I will say not just characters, while there are plenty of those to talk about. We want to give you some idea of some of the plot points going on. And Eric, you just mentioned a raid, which probably anyone who plays these types of games know what that means, but some people don't. A lot of these games have multiple aspects to them. These MMOs, multiplayer online games where you have, it's like a live world and people all around can join, as opposed to something like, Mario, or, where you just get on and you play a level and then you're done. Or maybe you even play against 2 or 3 other people, maybe even people who you don't know who are online with you. But you just play a game for a few minutes and you're done. But this is like a huge world where playing might mean like building armor and selling it to other people in the realm. You know what I mean? You can do it's an open world where you can do all sorts of things. And the game kind of sets you up with all these options. But one thing that is common in these is these central moments that happen or raids where there's some, monster you got to go beat. The dragon in the castle or the goblins in the cave. And so different people with their different specialties and insights and experiences and bonds and whatever will come together for a raid. And usually it's something you could not hope to possibly do on your own. Even the best person in a game just can't do it by themselves. It requires teamwork, which is one reason you have like these guilds of people that come together to train and share ideas and specialize in certain ways and make teams to play in these raids. And in this story that we've set up, TechCon is going to have a raid for the new expansion, but they're going to make a show of it, and you have to win a contest to be able to take part. And our guild, Arcadia, they're just excited in general about raids. Some people focus on them specifically. Some people take part when they can. Some people don't care about them at all because they care about things like
armor,
helping the orphans out in this world, or some other side quest of like collecting one of each butterfly, seeing the sunsets and the different locations in the world. There's all sorts of different types of goals and accomplishments or activities you can put on yourself. And our guild is a little bit more worried about role playing. They want to live out the adventure of being the cleric or the rogue or the paladin or whatever. They want to ham up they're like theater kids who are taking advantage of this game for acting. And there's more nuance to that, but that tends to be the type of focus that Arcadia has. The idea of them competing in this raid, which all the best raiders in the game are going to be on, that'll be a big plot point for us. Doug, do you have any insights you could add to how raids work or how our characters might get involved in this?
So, raids are generally a group of 8 to 24 players that are very highly skilled, because these dungeons are meant to be the biggest test of knowledge and skill in the game to be able to come together and defeat a very difficult objective, whether it be a boss or puzzles or a combination thereof, even if it's just lots of enemies. A lot of people are familiar with the Leroy Jenkins video for World of Warcraft. That is them at the beginning of a raid, coordinating everyone and calculating their odds, which they said in the video their odds were 33.33% of completing. And guess what? That's actually really good numbers, because most of the time the chance of beating a raid is like 20%. Raids are meant to be very difficult, even for people who are outfitted in the best gear possible. It is, again, like the ultimate challenge to get some of the best stuff in the game. Now, one thing we haven't talked a lot about is something that's very important to almost all video games, and that is the non-player characters. Eric, do you want to start us off on talking about some of our non-player characters in this game?
I will, but I feel like that's for another video when we talk about Omen, the actual game. I'm going to so basically wrap this up. Overall, it was important to us to keep true to gamers, or gaming, I'm sorry. And we want to just not to hit on why people play games and start from beginning to end, but we also want to focus on people who beat the game, the end game people. What do they do? Do they raid? Do they craft? Do they just hang out and enjoy each other's company? And that's what we focus on this guild and these stories, and how not this game affects their life, but how this game can affect their life outside of this game.
Hey Arcadians, make sure to like and subscribe to keep up with what's going on in the guild. If you have any questions, comment down below. And remember, stay ever vigilant.